Here we go. It is the Galactic Fried Chicken Nightcap right here on BearcatJournal.com. Make sure you get yourself to GalacticFriedChicken.com. Download the app, Android, iPhone, everything Galactic. Get your delivery, get your carry out, stop down and visit Shane in Dayton, and make life better with Galactic Fried Chicken. It's probably going to be loud in the background here tonight. There's like 8 kids running around my house. Dogs are barking. TVs are loud. Music's playing outside. There's a fire pit.
Nothing yet, so don't jinx it.
Good. Oh, I'm just warning people. Like there's stuff going on all around the office of the command center for Bearcat Journal. There's a lot going on, but can't get through a night without a nightcap, and wanted to make sure we got everybody up to date after day 1 of spring football on campus at Cincinnati. First off, that will be the nicest day of practice
ever
all year. There will not be another day as nice as today. It will not happen. I can guarantee you that. 70 degrees, sunny. It's a nice breeze, a little stiff wind at time, but for the most part, just an absolute picture perfect day on campus. I loved it. It was phenomenal.
Absolutely. You couldn't have scripted a better day than the weather today.
And there was nothing better than the practice was supposed to be in the bubble. Obviously, right. You're scheduling a practice for the 5th day of March. You're probably going to need to be inside. Got word about 8:45 this morning that it was going to be in Nippert, and that was it was a jolt for me. I'm sure for the guys, it was like, let's go. Like day 1, get to be on the turf at Nippert, get to go out and have some fun. It was very good stuff. You never get much on day 1. It's just helmets, no shoulder pads, no hitting, no popping. But still always great to get back out there. And my thoughts are on Bearcat Journal. There's day 1 practice report that's up. I will be doing those for every day of practice or every day that I attend, which should be all of them. That's the plan. 15 practices between now and the 2nd week of April, because there's still 2 practices. That's something Luke started doing. They have the spring game, and then they'll have 2 practices after the spring game to kind of clear up anything from the spring game and decompress and get ready to go into summer.
We have a date on the spring game yet?
April 9th.
Okay.
April 9th. So this is a good chance. Mick Walker will have plenty of coverage of recruiting, but a good chance Aaron was there.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're there, we have one simple rule. You got to produce some content if you're at practice. And Aaron was to practice. So now's the time for Aaron's content. Sure. Aaron, give me your thoughts from day 1.
It was weird to see the leadership from last year not out on the field. Just strange. In general.
Almost a whole new coaching staff.
Yeah.
And all of the major players, like almost all of the major players, no longer involved. Like this is what I said when I started interviewing Luke Fickell. This is not a new chapter. This is a new book.
Yeah.
Like last year was book 1, chapter 5. This is book 2, chapter 1. Like
it's a reset. I mean, there's no other way to say it. It's a reset or a reload or however you want to phrase it for aesthetics. But I mean, it was just strange to not see Desmond Ritter out there. It was strange to not see Sauce and Beavers and Maije and the guys that 30 plus seniors. So yeah, it was that just as you took it all in, or at least for me, as I took it all in, it was just strange that you had that many guys that were just not there.
Yeah, I did get to bump into Jerome Ford, who he came back last night from Indy. He said he was disappointed. He wanted to run in the 4.3s. Said he didn't feel good on the turf. And I said, well, you can knock it out in your pro days. He's like, I ain't running my pro day. I already put up my 4.46. Like,
we're good.
Yeah, you're not risking putting a bad number on, like, because for a running back, 4.46 is more than adequate, more than adequate. So, but yeah, it was good to see Rome there.
I agree. Outside of that, obviously the first thing that everybody wanted to watch, except for you because you enjoy chaos, was.
It's not that I don't want to watch quarterbacks. It's just that I think there are other things that are also very, very important.
Sure. But Ben Bryant, Evan Prater, got to see a little bit of both of those guys. Early on for both of them, I feel like they both
a little juiced up, a little jazzed.
Took a minute for them to get comfortable. Both of them, they were fine. Short and intermediate passes, but when they started airing it out, both of them were sailing a little bit on guys. But again, both of them calmed down to where they both had a couple. I think they each had at least one, if not several.
I think Ben had two, and Evan had one really long one for a touchdown.
Deep balls. Outside of that, running backs look small compared to Jerome Ford, compared to, Michael Warren, Jared Dokes. It's a different. I don't think anybody compares to those guys yet.
Small is not the word though. Ethan Wright's like 4 inches taller than those dudes.
But they're all thick.
They're different type of backs.
Right,
yeah,
right.
They're different type of backs. Yes,
so,
I just want to clarify. Like,
correct.
They don't.
It's a different.
It's a different type of back.
Different type of back. Sure, it's just a visual difference when you're used to seeing one type of guy being back there for the last several years. We've seen the spot ends for Ethan Wright and for Chuck and whichever Montgomery happens to be back there at the time. But now these are the guys. So that was just something interesting. I don't know. Those were kind of some of the big things. I saw Ken Willis had an amazing, and they were just running some cornerback drills, had an amazing one-hand grab.
Dude's athletic.
He jumped. I couldn't believe that he snagged that one. That was a ridiculous grab. But good to see some of the young kids out there, 9 guys that have early enrolled and were out there.
Luke Dalton's a big boy. Did you see Luke Dalton?
I said hi to him right before we left. Yep, that's one of my guys.
6'5", 305. That's just a big boy.
One of the things he said to me just in passing was just that, school right now, easy. The stuff on the field, this is tough. And you like to hear that.
Yeah.
But yeah, JQ, goodness.
That's a long athletic looking young man.
One of the other reporters I was standing next to at one point said he looks like Majay, but Majay in like late sophomore year.
Sauce, you mean?
Or I'm sorry, yes, Sauce. Looks like Sauce, but late sophomore year.
Yeah.
Sorry, I was just looking at Majay's times. I still have his name in my head. But outside of that, good to see the guys back on the field. Good to catch up with some coaches that either haven't met or haven't seen in some time now. Got to meet Kerry Combs, which was fun for me because he graduated with my aunt at Coleraine. My dad graduated 3 years ahead of him.
Did you ask him if he remembered your aunt?
I didn't. I talked to my mom after I talked to him, and because I couldn't remember what year my dad graduated, if I'm being honest. And next time I talk to him, I'm gonna have to bring that up because they actually grew up right down the street from one another as well. So there's not a chance that he doesn't remember at least her.
Very cool.
So I'll have to bring that up to him. But good to see Brady as always. Good to see Pat. Those guys that they're always fun to be around.
I think the media horde is getting to a point where it's like fun to get together in that setting. Like we're usually working games and it's always a fun, like when we get out to spring ball, a chance to get a couple hours just kind of hanging out on the sidelines and
Agreed.
watching practice and shooting the shit. It's a fun group. I like where the media horde is at for UC right now. Minus Dan. Dan's probably on vacation somewhere. That man
as well. He should be.
That man needs a vacation. No questions asked.
Nick Mardner was just taller than everyone.
That's a tall dude. Without Metz, like it was without Metz was off to the side doing like he got his hand fixed. Remember, he had the giant club on his hand.
Yeah.
So we probably won't see him this spring, which is the case with a couple guys: Josh Wiley, Malik Van. Who else was in that? Renfro got his hip cleaned up.
Cooper. Pace.
Pace was. I don't know. I don't know if he had anything done where he's just like, because he was out there at the beginning. I think he might have just.
Yeah, we saw him working on the side. We saw JoJo Bermudez working on the side.
Yeah. So I forget where we were at. What were we talking about?
We were just talking about who was.
We
were talking about Mardner being tall.
Yeah, he's like without Metz, it was stunning how tall he was.
Well, especially when you saw like the receiver group out there, and he was just a whole head taller than everyone else.
He's listed at 6'6". That's he looked taller than 6'6". I would guess 6'6" is probably about right, but he looked taller than 6'6". That's a big dude.
Lining up on any of the defensive backs that he was up against, just. I don't know that he ever lined up on JQ, which is probably the closest to him as far as DBs go.
JQ wasn't getting any first and second team reps, and Nick was working in with that group.
I was trying to keep an eye out for that matchup in particular, just to see the height disparity.
Hopefully, I think JQ's 6'3", so he's still going to be.
That's what I'm saying.
He'll be 4 inches shorter, yeah.
But traditionally, the wide receiver stance as they line up is a little different than a cornerback stance when they line up. So we're never going to see them necessarily upright.
Right.
I don't know. I was just like seeing a lot of guys that we haven't seen outside of like the last 5-10 minutes of a practice.
No, you're right. You're right.
So one guy that stood out to me as far as looks like he's put on some weight in a good way was Jaheim.
Jaheim looked really good. Really good.
His legs have filled out. Right. His legs have filled out. His arms have filled out. And he
looks like he's ready. Like
he stood out
what I
to
would
me.
say.
He stood out to me as a guy who was physically ready out there.
Yeah. And that was one I was anticipating. Like, let's see how serious Jaheim took this opportunity. He took it very serious. And we talked about this in the preview, and we talked about it on a couple of the pods. I'm excited for them at linebacker, man. Huber, Jaheim. You have the two
Paces.
The Pace. Well, no, Pace and Van Fossen at the dollar spot. You have Ivan, working in there. And Jack Dingle that's an impressive looking kid.
Least surprising thing of the entire day, though, after practice was which Dingle is the one with the shorter hair?
Jacob.
Okay.
Well, Jacob's the safety, the longer hair. Jack is the shorter hair, much bigger.
That's what I thought.
Yeah.
He was the one walking around shirtless with just a pair of shorts on after practice.
Oh, yeah.
Least surprising thing of the day was that Jack Dingle walking around just in a pair of shorts. He wants
to make sure everybody is aware. Like, that is alpha, right? Like,
just so funny to me.
I'm
here.
Look better than you. I look better than you. Like, it doesn't matter who you are. You don't look like me. But overall, man, great day one. When are you going back?
I'm not sure. As far as going back to Athens, I'm heading back tomorrow. One other thing I did want to mention as well, Shimon Monteir he actually it looks like it's translating to field speed. I mean, he's not out there running 21 miles an hour, but he's twitchy getting off the ball.
He looked a lot better than he did 5 months ago.
Yeah, last year.
A lot better.
So
I thought Lenny looked good in a couple of those routes he ran, making the catch and getting upfield.
Mm-hmm.
He looked smooth. He didn't look forced in his effort. So
no, it looked fluid.
There's a lot of good stuff on Bearcat Journal. I've got the official practice report up. That's Aaron's take. Mick is going to be working on a bunch of recruiting stuff as he was in town today, helping out as well. We were 4 deep, well 5 deep with Will. Yeah. Jennell was there, so Jeff Jennell covered the baseball game.
They won.
He was like, by the way, I was going to come down, but I wore my son's like select baseball team shirt, and their mascot's the Razorbacks. He was like, I didn't think it would go over too well on the side.
Good call.
With me like standing there with Razorbacks on my chest
Not a ton
for the
of people,
first spring practice. Yeah.
Not a ton of people would have that foresight. Good call, Jeff.
No, it's my son's team. I swear. My son's baseball team. I swear. So Jeff caught that one. I cracked up when he sent me a text. He was like, he was going to come down, and he was like, I think it's a bad idea. I don't think I should be on the sidelines in my Razorback shirt.
Before we go, one last question.
Okay.
Trey Tucker wearing number 1. Thoughts?
I like it.
I had Jeff hit me up and said, I don't know how I feel about this. And I said,
number 1 has been kind of a leadership number on defense. At this point, I don't know like who would be number 1. I get maybe Deshaun Pace. I don't know who would be number 1 on defense right now. I don't mind it switching to offense for a guy like Trey, who I think is a guy ready to come into. He's a stone cold leader in the weight room.
Correct.
He's a stone cold leader when they're out there doing mat drills and sprints and all that other stuff. He's going to be one of their better offensive weapons.
Not afraid to hop on the mic. Great
on the mic. I don't mind Trey Tucker rocking number 1 at all. If number 1 is going to be a thing, I don't think it has to be just defense. I don't mind if it is kind of able to morph between like, okay, this year it's an offensive guy.
Should go to your biggest leader, whatever that may be. If
not necessarily your biggest leader, but just it was Wiggins. Wiggins wasn't like a crazy locker room leader. Sauce was, but not like Kobe was.
Right.
But I want it to be an alpha, a leader. It doesn't have to be the leader.
Okay.
But you also kind of like, Wig was one of the most explosive players in college football.
Mm-hmm.
Sauce is Sauce.
Right.
I think Trey has a chance to be one of maybe the most explosive players in college football. I don't mind it at all.
That was one of the things I banged the drum on last year, was wanting to see him get the ball in his hands more often, because when he has the ball in his hands, anything can happen. So just want to get your thoughts on that real quick.
No, I don't mind it at all. I'm good with it. All right. Let's rock out. I got a bunch of people waiting for me outside. So
go party.
We will get this posted. Thank you, sir, for checking out practice today.
No problem.
Great show, and I'll see you tomorrow night. We'll recap the stuff we missed from the combine today. We'll get to tomorrow night to kind of put a cap on the combine for Sunday. So he's Aaron Smith. I'm Chad Brendel. It's the Nightcap, brought to you by Galactic Fried Chicken, right here on BearcatJournal.com.
See